What if I told you that the smartest people in the world, scientists, philosophers, and thinkers, have already answered the ultimate question? What scientific concept would improve everyone's cognitive toolkit? You're in for a brain-boosting buffet of ideas that will stretch, challenge, and sharpen the way you think about the world. Welcome to This Will Make You Smarter by John Brockman, a curated collection of insights from some of the most brilliant minds of our time. Grab a cup of coffee, or maybe a notebook, because by the end of this journey, you'll have a mental toolbox fit for a modern-day Einstein. But don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those dry, academic lectures. Oh no! In this audiobook by AudiblePages, we're diving in with humor, relatable stories, and practical takeaways. So buckle up, because we're about to get smarter together. Main points 1. The importance of thinking about thinking. Let's start with metacognition, a fancy word for thinking about thinking. This is the ability to step outside of your own mind and observe how you're processing information. Neuroscientist Terence Sanowski suggests that understanding how our brains work can help us make better decisions. For instance, did you know your brain is essentially running on predictive coding? It's constantly guessing what will happen next based on past experiences. This is why you sometimes hear your phone buzz when it didn't. Your brain is primed to expect it. Takeaway: start questioning your gut instincts. Is that hunch based on solid reasoning or just a glitch in your brain's predictive coding? Think about your thinking, and you'll avoid jumping to conclusions. 2. The power of cognitive biases. Cognitive biases. They're like those sneaky friends who give terrible advice, but always sound so convincing. Behavioral economist Daniel Kahneman dives into concepts like loss aversion, the idea that losing $10 feels way worse than finding $10 feels good. This bias shapes everything from how we invest our money to how we argue with our partners. Understanding your biases is like discovering the cheat codes for the video game of life. Story time. Imagine a poker player who's terrified of losing chips, even when they have a great hand. That fear of loss often makes them fold prematurely. Now apply that to real life. How many opportunities have you folded on because of your own loss aversion? Takeaway: learn to spot your biases. When making decisions, ask yourself, am I avoiding this because of fear, or is there a logical reason? 3. Embrace the power of the unknown. Astrophysicist Marcelo Gleiser argues that understanding the limits of our knowledge is a superpower. Think about it. The moment you realize how much you don't know, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. It's the intellectual equivalent of admitting you're lost and finally asking for directions. Humorous analogy. Have you ever tried to assemble IKEA furniture without looking at the instructions? That's what life is like when you pretend to know everything. It's okay to admit you need the manual. Takeaway: get comfortable with uncertainty. When you don't have all the answers, you're more likely to stay curious and innovative. For the adjacent possible, Stuart Kaufman introduces the concept of the adjacent possible, which is essentially the idea that innovation happens when you explore the edges of what's currently possible. Think about how the internet evolved from the telephone. Each breakthrough didn't come out of nowhere. It built on what was already there. Story time. Consider Steve Jobs. He didn't invent the computer, but he explored the adjacent possible by making it user-friendly and beautiful. That's how we got the Mac. Takeaway: when you're stuck, don't aim for giant leaps. Look for the next small step that expands the possibilities. 5. Groupthink versus diverse perspectives. Margaret Heffernan highlights the dangers of groupthink, where everyone in a group starts to agree, often at the expense of good ideas. She shares examples from corporate boardrooms to scientific research, showing how diversity of thought leads to better outcomes. Humorous analogy. Imagine you're at a potluck where everyone brings potato salad. Sure, it's fine, but wouldn't you rather have a variety? Diversity spices things up. Takeaway: surround yourself with people who think differently than you. Challenge ideas, debate respectfully, and you'll uncover better solutions. 6. The danger of simple stories. Psychologist Philip Tetlock warns against oversimplified narratives. We love a good story, but life is messy, complex, and rarely fits into neat little packages. Think about political slogans or marketing catchphrases. They're designed to be memorable, not accurate. Story time. Remember the tale of the tortoise and the hare? It's cute, but it's not exactly a nuanced analysis of perseverance and strategy. In real life, the tortoise probably had a support team, a solid plan, and maybe some coffee. Takeaway: question overly simple explanations. Real wisdom lies in the gray areas. 7. The power of feedback loops. Physicist Jana Levin emphasizes the importance of feedback loops, cycles where outputs are fed back into the system as inputs. This is how we learn, grow, and adapt. Whether it's tracking your fitness progress or analyzing your work performance, feedback is essential. Analogy: think of life as a game of darts. Without feedback, you're throwing blindfolded. But with feedback, you adjust and get closer to the bullseye. Takeaway: seek feedback regularly and use it to refine your actions. Conclusion: so, what have we learned? To become smarter, you don't need a degree in quantum physics or a genius-level IQ. You just need the right tools: metacognition, awareness of biases, comfort with uncertainty, exploration of the adjacent possible, diverse perspectives, skepticism of simple stories, and the power of feedback loops. Here's your homework. Pick one concept from this audiobook and apply it to your life today. Start questioning your biases, get comfortable with not knowing everything, or seek out someone with a completely different viewpoint. Remember, intelligence isn't static. It's a skill you can grow one thought at a time. And with that, you're officially armed with a smarter way to think. Go out there and conquer the world. Just don't forget to share your newfound wisdom at your next dinner party. Trust me, it'll make you the most interesting person in the room.